there! So today I wanted to show you how to create an illustration from a children's book that I created a few years ago. Now the book is called Jungle Show and it's about some funny jungle characters doing things that you wouldn't normally expect them to do. Now the character we're going to focus on today is the one and only gangly Gerry the Giraffe. So here he is in the jungle. He's a funny character. He tries to roller skate, so he wibbles and he wobbles and he makes everybody laugh, because a roller skating giraffe isn't something that you would usually expect to see. So here are a couple of the sketches that I did when I was creating my illustrations, and then here is some of the work in progress painting that I did. This is the illustration that we're going to focus on today. Now, having a look at him, he takes up most of the page. We need to think about where he's positioned on the page. We're going to start with drawing his head. Now, his head is probably about 5 centimetres from the top and central in the page, so using our pencil, we're going to sketch that out. If we have a little look here, the top of his head is a little bit like an M shape, a sort of slanted M shape. So, create that shape at the top of our page. Now we're going to bring those lines down a little bit further on either side. Okay? And then from that we are going to create the side of his face which curves out, in and then down to create his nose. So we go out and in and down to create the shape of his nose and the front of his face. Then we're going to have a look at this side of his face, which, if you have a look, there's a little gap from this line here directly down, and it curves in the opposite direction and down to where his tongue is poking out. So we go down from here and round and down. Now the reason I had his tongue poking out was because a giraffe is quite tall, which will make it tricky for him to roller skate. That's why children find it a little bit easier to roller skate than adults, because they're a little bit closer to the ground because they're not quite so tall. And sometimes when you're doing things that you find tricky, you might poke your tongue out trying to concentrate. So I made that quite a feature of him, just to make him a little bit more funny. So that tongue's going to come out. Okay, and then from here we're going to look at this part of his nose. So we curve around and come up over the top of the tongue, so down and up to create that opening of his mouth, and then his chin just comes around underneath. Okay, and then to add a little bit more detail to his nose, we've got another sort of 2 curved shapes here to create that shape on the top of his nose. Okay, and next we're going to look at the horns, which come off diagonally off either side of the top of his head. So we've got 2 straight lines there coming off at an angle and 2 here. Then to make the top of the horns, we've got a bump and another bump and a bump. Okay, next we have the ears, and they, as you can see, come off directly off the side of the top of his head, around about where that curve is. So we go around and flick, around and flick, and again adding a little bit of detail by adding a line in the middle. And then the second ear sort of fills in that gap over there, so we go around and a flick, around and a flick, and add that detail inside.